Maybe you're the athlete staring out the window, replaying that one turnover over and over until you absolutely feel sick. Or maybe you're the parent. You're walking on eggshells because you know that if you say, good job, or you did your best, great work out there, they're legit gonna snap at you. We've all been there if you're a sports parent. Today, we're going to be talking about the mental trap that kills athletic careers, the fixed mindset, but I'm going to tell you how to hotwire your brain for a confidence flip that actually sticks when the pressure hits.
Hello, and thank you for joining the Champion Within podcast, your premier go-to spot for unlocking your winning mindset. Whether you're an athlete looking to elevate your game to the next level, a coach leading the charge, an enthusiastic parent cheering from the sidelines, or an educator molding young minds, the Champion Within podcast episodes are packed with value, sharing the tools and strategies to unlock your potential and rise to new heights. Hosted by mentor, coach, and mindset leader Kate McCauley. Let's sit back and enjoy today's episode while discovering your champion within. And now, here's Kate.
If you have a fixed mindset, you aren't playing a game. You are defending your reputation. Let's be honest, that is utterly exhausting. No wonder they're playing stiff. The athletes who look clutch, they aren't fearless. They just change that internal script, the things that they're saying to themselves, either whispering, hearing their brain say, or out loud. They don't say, oh, I look stupid. They're not thinking that. Instead of the athlete saying, don't look stupid, don't mess up, they're thinking, let's see what happens if I push the pace. They've given themselves the permission to fail. They've signed that permission slip, which ironically is the only way you actually succeed under pressure. You have to be in the moment and let yourself navigate through. Every athlete says they want confidence. Every single time I get on a call, coaches say, we want them to be more confident, play free, trust their skills, and show up in the big moments the same way they do in their training. But confidence isn't something you just have or don't have. It's built moment by moment. It's how you think, how you respond to those mistakes, and how the people around you talk when things get hard. This is where mindset training comes in. The difference between an athlete who shuts down under pressure and the one who steps up and grows from every challenge almost comes down to one thing: whether they're operating from a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Once you understand the difference, you can start using simple, clear language and everyday habits, pre-practice, during, and after, to build real confidence, not the kind that disappears after one bad game or a mistake. Let's go back and strip this right to the basics here. A fixed mindset is the belief that your ability is set. You are either talented or you're not. You're either a natural or you're just not that good. When you live in that fixed mindset, every performance feels like a verdict on who you are as an athlete and as a person. A good game means I am good. A bad game means maybe I'm actually terrible. A growth mindset, on the other hand, is the belief that the ability can be developed. It doesn't deny that people start in different places, but it builds and focuses on what can be trained, what can be improved and sharpened. When you're in a growth mindset, your performance becomes more of information. Mistakes are not proof that you're a failure or you're terrible. It is feedback. It's a message for you to adjust something next time. The key to the fixed mindset is that my results define me, when the growth mindset is my results guide me. Most athletes aren't 100% fixed or 100% growth. We slide between the two. And sometimes we don't even realize this. The power lies when you can catch that fixed mindset moment, catch it early, and have tools to shift back to the growth. That's where your confidence starts to feel steady and consistent instead of fragile. When you're training, there's really no scoreboard and there's a lot less pressure. Many athletes really look confident. Coaches, parents say to me, they look so great in practice. And sometimes when they compete, they're looking good. Skills are flowing, they're relaxed, they take risks. But when the score is tight or it's a big competition, scouts are watching, or it's the championship game, mindset steps into the spotlight. A fixed mindset is going to sound like, I can't mess this up. If I look bad, everyone will know I am not good enough. What if I let the team down? I've been that person. I've cried in locker rooms thinking, what if, or I let the team down. And what happens here is your body is going to tighten up. Your movements become stiff. You're cautious. As an athlete, you're not going to play to win. Their focus shifts from the actual process, their role, their decision, their effort, to the outcome, the score, what other people are thinking, the risk of failure. If you're in a growth mindset, you're thinking something like this. This is a chance where I'm going to test myself. Whatever happens, I'm going to learn something. I trust my training. I'm sticking to the process, one play at a time. Next. Those thoughts in your head create space. Your body can be relaxed. You're relaxed enough when you're feeling that and thinking that you know you already know what to do. And let's be honest, you're athletes, or if you are the athlete, you do know what to do. They do know what to do. If you're the coach listening right now, you have trained them. You've done the work. They need to know that, though. They need to trust themselves. They need to be more willing to adjust and less controlled by that fear. It's the same athlete, same skill level, completely different performance if you're fixed or a growth mindset. It's really what's happening between their ears. I'm going to walk you through a couple scenarios about how mindset might show itself through words, body language, and effort. Sometimes we think it's other things going on, like they're being lazy. This is what's happening in their brains. I want you to be leaning in and listening, thinking of yourself or your athletes, and imagine an athlete making a big mistake early in the game or the competition. A turnover, they messed up a move in their routine, maybe they dropped the ball. A fixed mindset, you're going to see their head drop, shoulders slump. They avoid eye contact with teammates and the coaches. Maybe they get defensive. That pass was terrible, or the ref is blind. Their effort is going to dip. They start playing small. They're taking fewer risks because they're trying to avoid another mistake. They don't necessarily even know this is happening, but there's a story in their head saying on repeat, I'm blowing it. I always mess up. If they are the growth mindset response, there's still some frustration. We're human. We want to do well, but they reset faster. You're going to see a deep breath, maybe a clap of hands, or a quick next, a word that they say to help them snap back. This is showing that they are engaged in the competition, in the game. They're ready for the ball again. They're going on to the next movement. If they bobbled something, I'm thinking of a cheerleading team right now, something went wrong, next, they move to the next skill. Their communication sounds like, my bad, that's me, I'll adjust. Or that wasn't great, I'm not done. Next, what's my next job? That's the focus. Think of another scenario here. Maybe you're going against a really good team, a tough opponent. If your athlete or your teams are in a fixed mindset, they're saying things like, they're way better than us. We don't stand a chance against them. They've always been strong. What's the point? The athlete is going to go through the motions, but mentally they are checked out. When things get hard, they're interrupting that difficulty. Oh, here's the proof. Yep, we knew we couldn't do it. However, if they're in a growth mindset, total opposite here, but it's the same strong team. They're going to be saying things like this to themselves and out loud. This is going to challenge us. They are good. Let's see how we measure up. What do we need to do to adjust to compete? Let's go. They stay curious rather than defeated. They look for solutions, different strategies, more communication, better effort, instead of a way for them to emotionally escape that situation. The difference is not talent. It is not a talent issue. It is just interpretation. It's something that we can train. It's something that in the Champion Within programs, I teach athletes to do through breath work, visualization, self-talk, resetting. When I say clapping your hands, saying a word, they have to go through prompts and different things when we journal. We got to dig deep, clear some things out, create a plan so that we can get to that level. It just doesn't happen overnight. It's not magic beans or fairy dust that we sprinkle. Something important for us to remember is that athletes are not going to build their mindset in isolation. The way the coaches and parents speak before, during, after performances, this is wiring their brain for how they see themselves and their potential. Really well-meaning phrases, and I know that it's coming from a place of love, but these are accidentally feeding into a fixed mindset. Here's some examples. And if you've said them, it's okay. Take this as feedback. What are you going to do next? Here's the examples. You're so naturally talented. You're the best player out there. I'll admit, I've been guilty of that. I used to say it to my son. Step on, you are the best player. And I know better now. This was way before I did any of this training. Or maybe a phrase like, what happened? You never miss those. These sound positive, but they attach identity to outcome and natural gifts. If things are going well, the athlete feels on top of the world. But when things go badly, and that's going to happen, there's going to be better players. You're going to have an off day. They feel like a fraud. And they start to think, maybe I'm not actually that talented. Or if I was actually good, that wouldn't have happened. Confidence becomes fragile and conditional. Exactly what we don't want it to be. Now, I want you to compare your language to this. Here's where you're going to get out a pen, pause, replay this, maybe send it to a friend. Send this episode to a friend who is like, I know my kid's talented. I just need to figure out what to say to them. Here's what you say to help wire their brain to be in a growth mindset. And you're not going to go up to your kid and be like, hey, I want you to have a growth mindset. So I'm going to start saying these things. Stop. Don't be weird. Okay. Your kid doesn't want that. That's not how we're going to do this. But these are phrases and you can adjust them slightly for your language. But these are the type of phrases that you should be saying. I love how hard you worked the entire game. It's incredible how you just kept adjusting, finding ways to compete. Or you stayed in it even when it wasn't going your way. These type of comments are going to highlight the controllables. Always control the controllables. Things like effort, strategy, persistence, resilience. Say those words again to yourself. I'll say them for you so you don't need to. Effort, strategy, persistence, and resilience. I had to think for a second when I said there. When you say those words again, of course, we're talking about your athlete, but what about your athlete in other areas? School, when they get a job, effort, strategy, persistence, resilience. I own a business. I want to hire people like that. These are going to teach your athlete what matters most, not what they do, not just what they get. Their confidence is shifting from I'm good when I win to I'm proud of how I showed up no matter what. This also allows them to be in the present moment. That's how you play free. That's how you get in the zone. People are always trying to get in the flow or in the zone. Growth mindset is where it's at. I need to jump in here. Coach, quick question. Do your athletes look amazing at practice, but when the game gets tight or you have a big competition, they panic, lose focus, fall apart, start talking negatively before they even compete, missed plays, bad body language, heads down? You know they have the talent, but pressure is winning. That's not a talent problem. That's a mental side of the sport problem. I run a team program called The Champion Within, where I train athletes using my CHAMP framework: confidence, habits, attitude, mental imagery, and purpose. I literally retrain their brains so they know how to stay calm, get focused, and compete like the champions they are. When the moments get big, they need to know how to regulate their nervous system. It needs to be automatic. The teams that win consistently, they train their minds, not just their bodies. Just go down to the show notes, click on the link, or send me a DM on Instagram with the word team, and I'll get you everything you need. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. This confidence is going to travel with your team, your athlete, to every game, every season, in all areas of life, through challenges, good times, bad, all the things. Your brain doesn't shut off. This is rewiring your brain. You don't necessarily need a psychology degree to change your athlete's mindset. I will tell you, though, that when I go in and do stuff in workshops, sometimes the parents and the coaches say to me, I promise you, Kate, we've been trying to say these things. Maybe we're saying it a little bit differently. Sometimes it lands different when it's coming from someone who does this every day, or coming from someone who is not their parent. And I love you. I know you love them. I'm a sports mom myself, but it's developmentally appropriate that they're going to roll their eyes at you, right? Even if you're not the one running a workshop or guiding them through visualization and breath work, you are helping them when you are saying these statements. One simple shift in how you give feedback, praise, and the coach processing things, not the person or the outcome, it changes everything for your athlete. This is what it's going to look like if you're actually living this in real life, okay? Let's say we're talking about after a game. Instead of starting with, you scored 3 goals, that was amazing, I want you to say this instead. I noticed how you kept making those hard runs even when you didn't get the ball. That is pure effort. And that effort opened up space for your whole team. Instead of saying something like, you are a natural defender, you're a beast on defense, I want you to say something specific and say, you really read the play well, and I love how you made that strong decision when there was a big pressure moment. Be specific about whatever the pressure moment is there. Let's say it's before a big competition. I'm thinking of my gymnasts, my cheerleaders, ice skaters, really anyone, any game here. Instead of saying something like, you've got this, you're the best out there, don't say that. Switch to this. Trust your training. Focus on your job, one play at a time, one movement at a time, one rep at a time. Bring your effort and composure. That's your edge. That's what you say to them. These kinds of phrases do really 3 powerful things. 1, they're going to anchor confidence in what the athlete can control. The second thing, it's reducing that fear of failure because mistakes aren't equaling, I'm not good enough anymore. The third thing, you're encouraging your athlete to stay curious, to adjust, keep growing, even in the tough moments. Small language shifts like this repeated over time are going to rewire your athlete's brain and really every area of their life, not just for sports. And that inner voice, guess what? That is the loudest coach that they will ever have. I'm going to drop some phrases to make this even more actionable, these growth mindset style phrases that you can use in your next practice, game, the car ride home. Of course, adapt them for your sport or your voice. I'm from Philly, so sometimes I might say things where people are like, well, we don't talk like that. It's fine. You can adapt a little bit, but I want you to keep the focus the same. Effort, learning, resilience. For my coaches and parents, here you go. I'm dropping them. What did you learn from today that you can use next time? I'm proud of how you kept showing up even when it was tough. Where did you see improvement? What's one adjustment that you would try next game? I loved your body language after that mistake. That's not easy to do. You reset quickly and stayed ready. This is for my athletes who are listening right now. If you're an athlete, this is for you. If you are an athlete listening, and let's be honest, we're all athletes. I hope everyone's moving their body. But if you are competitively this is for my athletes who are listening. And can I just put a little asterisk in there that we're all athletes, even if you're not still competitively competing. If you're moving your body, exercising, out for a run, sure, maybe you're not going to be able to beat your athlete who is actually out there competing. But anyway, we're all athletes. And these are lines for you when you are in that competition or you are in motion. You should be saying to yourself, I want you hearing this through your brain. Maybe you're even going to whisper it to yourself. Say it out loud if you want to. Here's the first one. That play is over. What's my next job? I can learn from this. What's the lesson? Pressure means this matters to me. I'm prepared for this. My effort, attitude, focus are always under my control. Mistakes are feedback. It is not a definition of who I am. I want you as an athlete to practice these phrases. Say them out loud, as I just said. Write them down. Whisper them to yourself. Use them as cues in your training. The more familiar that these things become, the easier it'll be to pop into your brain when that fixed mindset, that old pattern, tries to take over. I want you to remember that mindset is a trainable skill. It is not going to shift in one pep talk or one podcast or that blog post you read. It's consistent, simple habits that stack up over time. That creates lasting change. I want you to just do small, short mindset check-ins with your daily life and your sport. Before practice or games, set one process-focused intention. Today, I am going to communicate loudly. Today, I will bounce back fast after mistakes. During the actual training, so when you're at practice this week, I want you to notice yourself talk when you're tired or frustrated. That's the key part there. And catch those phrases. Pay attention to them when you hear the little whisper in your brain say, oh, I can't do this, or I always mess this up. And I want you to replace it. Flip the script with this. This is hard, but I can improve. Next, what do I need to do to adjust? After the game, 3 questions I want you to reflect on. You don't necessarily need to journal, but if you like that, you can. But I want you at very minimum to have a little chit chat with yourself. First question, what went well? Second question, what was challenging? And third question, what did I learn? Tools like visualization, breath work, EFT tapping, they all support this. When I guide athletes with visualization, we rehearse growth mindset responses to these pressure situations. You actually can see it happening in your mind, and that's how we rewire it. When I train and teach breath work, it calms the nervous system down so that you can stay present and composed. You don't want your athletes, if you're the coach or the parent, or you're the athlete yourself, you don't want to be thinking about something that happened in the past, maybe last game or last play, and you made a mistake. You don't want to be thinking about the future, the scoreboard, or why it's so important we need to do this, that, or the other thing. You need to be in the present moment. Breath work gets them there. EFT is always one that people are like, I'm not so sure about that. I'm tapping on different parts of my body. But once they understand it and I guide them through, really what happens is we release any of that old stuck belief about not being good enough or that we're going to choke under pressure, and we flip it. We create a new story and we start seeing it just like the visualization. In all of the Champion Within programs, I'm helping athletes, high performers in the corporate and education space build mental routines that support their skills, not sabotage them. When mindset training sits right beside physical training, not as an emergency fix, but as part of the actual plan, performance and confidence both rise. Confidence isn't magic. We don't have fairy dust or magic beans. It isn't reserved for the lucky few. It is the natural result of growth mindset. And that is treating every performance like information, feedback. Every mistake is data. It's a challenge. It's an opportunity to level up. When your athletes stop trying to identify their results and start focusing on effort, learning, adjusting, they're going to play freer. I promise. I actually will give you a guarantee on that. I absolutely guarantee right now that they will recover faster from setbacks when they learn how to do this. They become more coachable. Who doesn't want that? More resilient, more consistent, not just in sport. Remember, I feel like I'm banging this into this episode here, but it is in every area of their life. That's what we want, or at least I hope that's what you want. One of the earliest coaches I worked with when I started this mental performance work, we got on a call and she said, I want them to be better humans when they leave me. And I hope everybody listening right now who's a coach is nodding their head saying, absolutely, I want that too. You don't have to overhaul everything for them to get this started. You're going to start with shifting a few phrases, helping them change their body language, and then building these mindset habits. If you really want to take this to the next level, send me a message. Everything is right down there in the show notes. Click on the link, set up a call with me. We can talk about your team, see where you're at, where you want to go. It would be an absolute honor. And I told you, I guarantee that I know I can get them there because I'm doing it with every team I work with. I didn't say I guarantee every game's a win because you're not going to win every single game. It's just not going to happen. Although I've had some teams that have had some pretty epic records now that it's floating through my brain. But anyway, you're going to lose sometimes. You're going to make mistakes, but it's what you do next. It's how you reset. That's why they move on. That's why my teams are winning championships and coming home with medals, because they're not getting stuck. They're not sitting in it. And if you're ready for your team to do that, go down to the show notes, click on my website, set up a call, send me a message on Instagram, and I can help you and say, here's the dates I have. Let's get this set. Remember, you can retrain your brain and tap into that champion within you. Little habits, 1% better, stacking these. It is 100% a trainable skill. I want you to remember that these simple sports confidence hacks and what I teach compound over time, and they quietly will be unlocking the champion within you. I'm rooting for you always. Have an amazing rest of your week.
Thank you for hanging out with Kate today. And whether you're going to coach, teach, cheer from the sidelines, or hitting the field yourself, remember, mindset is everything. Don't forget to follow the show for the latest episodes, as we all need a little extra motivation, humor, and sanity in our busy lives. Now, go and unleash your champion within you, one step at a time. We're always rooting for you.